Students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian. I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. Welcome to some of our new channel members, Ruxana and Amit. Welcome, Pon. Good to see Ariadne in the class. Everybody, today is a IELTS reading class. The topic of this reading passage is going to be about a famous Peruvian drink. This lesson, these materials are brought to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS. Visit us there. For the general IELTS, check us out at gieltshelp.com. These are our websites. They have our practice exams, our courses, our videos. This is our academic website here. To join the premium version, just simply click this big red button and you're good to go. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. It only costs about 30 to 50 bucks US. For the general IELTS, same idea. Click that red button, fill out this form, and you are on your way to excellent study materials that are structured, scheduled, and you are going to certainly gain some good English skills and good skills for the IELTS. We're an IDP affiliate, a British Council partner, and an IELTS test registration center. We help thousands of students every single week to improve and get better scores for immigration, for school, and to live abroad. Students, for those of you who are premium users, we have extra classes in the week. Those are on Thursdays, Fridays. And if you want to check that out, you can use this link here. I'll copy that into the chat. Ahmed, I think my microphone volume is okay. I have it quite loud, but I'll check my settings just because I see you there. Yep, I've got it all the way up, so I think it's on your end. Let me just see what I can do here. Yeah, no, it's good. The microphone volume's good, so hopefully that's working. Is anybody else fine? Yeah, Alexander says it's fine. Okay, maybe just turn up the volume on the headset, Ahmed. Might be the other solution there. Students, the apps that power the websites as well and link are Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help from your Android App Store. Instagram is IELTS_AEhelp and GIELTS Help for some additional vocabulary and tips. If you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. All right, so students, this week we have reading right now. I should say reading there for you. Tomorrow we have speaking, and then we have more reading and speaking on the 26th and 27th, although I believe this might be a task 2 on the 26th for premium users. I'll double check that. Welcome, Carolina, our chat moderator. Everybody, you will see Carolina's name is blue. That's because she's here to help. She can answer some questions for you as well. Okay, so just an important note here. We're going to have a schedule change for these live classes from March. From March, we are going to be doing one YouTube class and potentially one premium class in the week. That will allow for the development of new materials and for new videos on YouTube as well to help your learning. So I'll share that new schedule, and there'll be a couple of changes going on there as well. I'll keep reminding you throughout this week. The YouTube channel is great to use for your learning. You can check out videos like this one, and make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, get regular updates, okay? Let's get into today's reading. So just a quick tip right away, when you are practicing your reading, always visualize. So see the content. Don't just read too fast, meaning that you're not really paying attention to the information or not enough. Don't just be skimming and scanning for keywords. That's not the right strategy. It's useful for after reading the passage, but always visualize. So in this case, this reading passage here, a piece of Peruvian culture, as soon as you see this title, what you should do is visualize that you are in Central South America. People around you are maybe speaking Spanish. You're in Peru. Maybe you see yourself on the hill of Monte Picchu. Very famous world site, of course. And as soon as you start realizing the topic, that this is about a drink, then you want to see yourself going out in Peru, maybe with some friends, having this drink, and really connecting with the information. Okay, so we're going to read this passage together, and then we will look at the questions and answer them as well. So when you're doing the reading, and especially if you get one of these ones, you can see different types of passages. Sometimes you'll see one where it gives you subheadings for each of the paragraphs. So here it says, chicha, what is it? And before you start reading here, logically you might think, okay, well, let me just see what this is first. So you read this sentence here. Chicha is a drink made from corn that is part of Peruvian culture. Okay. Now you go, okay, I get it. So this is a drink made out of corn, right? So you go, okay, well, it's going to describe what it's about. It will give me the history. There's different types of chicha. The production, how it's made. Okay. A part of Peruvian culture. So what role does it play in the lives of Peruvian people? Where and how to drink it. It's the important part, right? How do I get this? Okay, so look at those subheadings to give you kind of a general idea of the passage, and then start reading. Students, this class is reading, so read with me. And when you have a chance at home, when you're practicing for the IELTS, make sure to try and read aloud. Aloud means that you're using your actual voice, you're not silent reading, so you can hear yourself. It's really good for speaking practice and for pronunciation practice as well. On our websites for many of the reading passages for this purpose, in the audio CDs, we've actually included
the causes of the American economic crisis.
The audio for the reading, so you can.
When discussing the causes of the late 2000s American subprime mortgage crisis, it is easy to lay all the
content. Okay. So if you really want to do a good job studying, definitely go to the websites and check them out. Okay, students, so here we go. Just before we read the passage, let's take a quick gander at the questions. Complete each sentence with the correct ending, A to M below. Write the correct letter, A to M, in boxes 1 to 6 on your answer sheet. So here we have 6 kind of half sentences, or also better known as sentence fragments. And here we have a whole bunch of answers. I think there's maybe about 12 possible choices. So that means 50% of them will be used and about the other 50% not. So just another tip, don't look at material in the reading passage that gives you extra or false content that's confusing. Don't look at it before the passage anyway. Only look at content that's in the passage. So in this case, it's going to be these 6 questions or half sentences that give us a little bit of insight. Okay, so read with me, students. Let's do this. Though soft drinks and beer are popular in Peru, comma, something. So it's a contrasting sentence, so it'll be something that contrasts that first half. Same with number 2. While it is believed that chicha has been around for thousands of years, something. Number 3, before a person was sacrificed. Okay, so this is a time conjunction, right? It's before. Number 4, also opposition. Although there are 2 main types of chicha. Number 5, similar to mulled cider, chicha morada contains cloves and cinnamon and, okay, this is going to be additive, so it's something adding here. So here right now I'm just getting an idea of what we're going to read and looking at the type of content, right? So some compare and contrasts, some explanation, some addition. While chicha de jora is made from less flavored yellow corn, something. Okay. Now we have some more questions here. Choose one word only from the passage for each answer. Write your answers in boxes 7 to 10 on your answer sheet. Production. Okay, so here we have the production, right? And so now I know, okay, well, that's going to match with this paragraph here, production. But I'm not going to jump around randomly in the passage. It's not effective. The speed that I'm reading and that I'm doing this is the correct speed for the IELTS to get high scores. You don't need to rush, but you do need a fairly steady kind of speed to get those high band scores. Okay. And again, all of this is going to be contained in the passage, so you should kind of read through it nice and steady. Though it has been traditionally produced for generations, in modern times, this is something. For example, traditionally, women would chew the corn and spit it into a bucket. This process would help stimulate something because of the chemicals present in the women's saliva. Culture. Even today, chicha has a place in the culture of Peru. Outside of Peru, the drink is consumed by those in South as well as something America. Now, don't just write North America, right? It could be something different. Keep your mind open. Chicha has also given rise to forms of music, dance, architecture, and film, an entire counterculture. In this sense, chicha is a drink for the common people, not for the something. Okay. Now, the last few questions, last 3 to be precise, are yes, no, not given. These are very similar to true, false, not given. It's asking you if these claims agree with the writer. Again, this is like multiple choice answers or these choices up here. We don't know which are true, which are false, yes or no, not given. So we don't look at those because they can just confuse us, right? We don't know if that information is in the passage. We'll look at it at the end. All right. Now, students, I am kind of monologuing this class so far, but please be aware that I'm looking at the chat and I'm very curious about your thoughts. So what kind of challenges you might have with the reading section, what kind of questions you have with the reading section. I've been teaching IELTS for nearly 20 years next year, so it's 19 years. I've done the IELTS, I've done examinations for the IELTS, mock examinations especially. I have friends who are examiners, who are markers. I have a lot of information there, so if you have questions, just ask. I'm happy to help. So even though we're going through these reading materials, definitely ask me and I will do my best to answer. It's a good chance I can give you a hand. So again, students, if you want all my knowledge, all my wealth of knowledge, join Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help through the websites. And if you have questions that don't get answered here, again, you can just send me an email. Okay? All right. So let's jump in to the reading here. Yeah, Shakshi Dubase is asking, for example, can you help me with tips on matching headings? And those of you in the class know very well that there are some really good strategies for that. In a nutshell, Shakshi Dubase, you have to ask yourself what the paragraph is about after you read each one and then find the closest match. We've got some really great lessons on the YouTube channel for list of headings, so go and find that and keep in these live classes because I'm sure we'll look at one sooner than later. Okay. All right, let's get into the reading. So we're going to read the whole passage and then we'll answer the questions. Okay, all right. Chicha, what is it? Chicha is a drink made from corn that is part of Peruvian culture. The history of chicha stretches back at least 500 years and possibly further into the past. Made from corn, a plentiful crop in the region, chicha is available in both fermented, alcoholic, and non-fermented, non-alcoholic forms. Sales of chicha in Peru rival those of the most popular soft drinks and beers. Needless to say, even after hundreds of years, chicha is incredibly popular in the region. History of chicha. Some historians think chicha has been prepared and consumed in communities in the Andes Mountains for thousands of years. However, direct evidence of this fact is difficult to find. However, it is known that the Incas produced chicha in the 1500s. For example, women were taught the techniques to brew the beverage in what were called aclawasi, or feminine schools. Corn mills have been discovered at the Incan ruins known as Machu Picchu, and it is clear that the drink was used for ritual and religious purposes. For example, chicha would be given as a sacrifice to the gods and even served to human sacrifices before they were killed. Evidence shows that it was consumed in significant quantities in the Incan culture for these reasons, and to this say it is common to offer chicha to Pachamama, the Earth Mother, by pouring some out before drinking. Again, very visual, students, so visualize all of these details. Types of chicha. There are two main types of chicha, though the exact formulation and production of chicha is likely to vary from town to town. The two main types of chicha, the two main types are chicha morada and chicha de jora. Chicha morada is a non-fermented and non-alcoholic drink made from purple corn, which gives it its characteristic purple color. It is high in antioxidants, helps to prevent certain cancers, and lowers blood pressure and cholesterol. It has also shown regenerative properties, such as the formation of collagen and the creation of connective tissue. It often contains cinnamon and cloves and is thus similar to mulled cider. Chicha de jora is the fermented and therefore alcoholic version of the drink. It is created by a process similar to that of beer. Unlike chicha morada, chicha de jora is made from yellow corn. Though the corn used is quite different from the corn many people are familiar with. It is more fibrous, has much larger kernels, and is much less flavorful. However, this makes it well suited to form the base of such a drink. In addition to corn, the drink often includes either quinoa or, for a sweeter version, strawberries. Production. The traditional production of chicha is today rare, but for most of its period of popularity, chicha has been produced according to particular standards. For example, the corn is not simply mashed up, rather it is chewed and spit into a bucket. This, as mentioned above, was traditionally a woman's job. The woman's saliva would help to activate the fermentation process through the natural occurring enzymes in the saliva. Women were also in charge of the rest of the brewing process, from germinating the corn to extracting the malt sugars, boiling the wort, and then fermenting it. A part of Peruvian culture. Chicha, to this day, holds a special place in Peruvian culture. It is widely considered the drink of Peru and continues to be enjoyed by generations of Peruvians as well as other South and Central Americans. The cultural impact of chicha has grown even beyond the beverage, however. Chicha has come to describe forms of dancing, painting, architecture, film, and other aesthetic areas. Chicha music, for example, became popular in the second half of the 20th century. Chicha's origins are as a drink of the people, something discounted by the elite, and the aesthetic schools associated with it share this counter-elite ethos. Where and how to drink it? Chicha, in its many forms, is available almost anywhere in Peru. It is available from street vendors, sidewalk stands, in markets, or even through your car window, stopped at a red light. But the most authentic place to enjoy chicha is what is called a chicheria, a kind of bar or tavern where chicha is served to guests. These establishments often operate outside the legal framework, are often run by families, and emphasize the drinking of chicha and the socialization it helps create. Chicherias are traditionally marked by a broomstick atop a dark doorway adorned by flowers, ribbons, baskets, or even plastic bags. Once inside, 25 pesos, about 30 cents US, will buy half a liter of the traditional beverage. Notably, the drink is often consumed with alarming pace. The locals can finish a glass in mere moments, asking for seconds quickly thereafter. If you are ever in Peru and want to connect with the locals and the culture, a glass of chicha is a must. From ancient times to the Incan period to today, chicha has helped to define the culture of a people and region. Okay, so students, that's the reading. Hopefully you were able to keep up. If not, that's okay. Watch this video later. Again, subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button so you can go back and revisit these videos and read it again, right? Carolina says, good pronunciation of chicha, Adrian. Thanks, Carolina. I've been practicing. And students, on that note, when you're reading on the exam, so this is only on the exam, not before the exam, not when you're learning, but when you're doing the exam, don't worry too much about pronunciation of words, okay? Especially in the academic, there can be some challenging scientific words or words from other cultures, like in this case, chicha or chicherias. Don't try to stop and break your fluency or your reading to figure that out, okay? So just kind of go with it and focus on the main concepts. So here, you know, what did you see? Students, just before we get to the questions, what did you see? So what was in your head? What were you doing? So as you were reading this together with me, you were listening to it. What was inside your head? What did you see yourself doing? You shouldn't be just passively reading. That's not a good way. Some high-level students that can read really well, they say, oh, well, I read the passage and then I forget everything that I was reading. Well, that's because you're not reading actively, right? If you want to remember what you're reading, you have to participate. You have to be seeing what the passage is providing. So Jovo says, I was reading with you. Good for you, Jovo. Pachuya Dove says, glass of chicha. You're drinking it? Is that what you were doing? Was it an alcoholic one or a non-alcoholic one? If it was a non-alcoholic one, what color was it? Oh, if it was an alcoholic one, what color was that? How fast were you drinking it? Where were you drinking it? Who were you drinking it with? Okay. So think about that, right? That you should be processing this information. Okay. All right. Now, when you're doing this type of question here, where you're finishing the sentence, the best way to do it is don't pay attention. You see me kind of scribbling out all the answers, so don't pay attention to the answers, okay? All right. What you want to do is you want to answer on your own, okay? The best way to do this, especially because there might be a couple of answers that are looking like they could work, you need to figure out the best answer. So to do that, you need to try to finish the sentence on your own and then find the matching answer. Does that make sense, everybody? So here, let's read this. Those soft drinks and beer are popular in Peru. What's the end of this? So how do we finish this sentence? I remember in the beginning, it said that even though beer and drinks are really popular in Peru, chicha is still one of the most popular drinks out there. Okay, so chicha is still just as popular, and lots of people drink it. Okay. So Guga says, when I read aloud, I forget everything. So to remember everything, I need to do silent reading. Guga, very good point. But it's not impossible. So when you're reading aloud, you should also be able to remember just about everything. Okay. And it's a really good way to practice remembering what you're reading, by reading aloud and still remembering. Okay. If you can't remember most of the information reading aloud, what that tells me is that you need to work on your reading comprehension. Okay, you should be able to still remember most of the information when you're reading aloud if you're focusing on the content. So that's a really good statement, Guga, that, you know, when I read aloud, I forget everything. And it's not just you, Guga, it's a lot of readers, it's a lot of people. And the reason is that they don't train their brain to do that. So it's a really good way to train your brain for comprehension is, okay, I can remember the passage fairly well when I'm reading quietly. How well can I remember it when I'm reading aloud? Good readers, so people who are really good at reading, can definitely hear themselves comprehend and understand even reading aloud. So train yourself to do that. Okay, everybody? Really good question, really good tip here from Guga. Train yourself to be able to remember information even when you're reading aloud. What that means, what will happen is when you can do that well, then you'll notice that when you're reading silently, you'll remember like every word just about, or every sentence, okay, in a passage like this. All right, so really good point there. Okay, so now that I finished this sentence, chicha is still as popular and lots of people drink it. Let me see if I can find a choice that kind of matches that. So first I'm going to read through all of them, okay? So they may have been served chicha. Nah. It is an ideal foundation for the drink. Nah. It has only been consumed since the 1500s. Meh. Non-alcoholic. Nope. Chicha is just as popular. Okay, this one looks pretty good. I'll keep that in mind, but I'm going to read the rest of them. It compensates for lack of flavor with color. Oh, I don't even think that was in the passage. Can lower cholesterol and prevent cancer. It can vary from town to town. Doesn't make sense. Only one is commonly consumed. No. They would consume chicha in significant quantities. That could be maybe correct as well. This has not been confirmed. Okay. It is clear that the historical shows this. No. Yellow corn contains alcohol. So, okay, I've got maybe two that can work. All right. So what I'm going to do, I think it's E, but just in case, I'm going to try J as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place both of them in here and see if it works. Okay. So let me just replace it and see which one works best. Okay. Though soft drinks and beer are popular in Peru, chicha is just as popular. Okay, I think that works really well. Let me try this other one. Okay, here we go. So those soft drinks and beer are popular in Peru. They would consume chicha in significant quantities. This doesn't work, especially because there's a grammar mistake here. So using they here in English is considered a bad grammar mistake. And the reason why is because that's known as a dangling pronoun or ambiguous pronoun. We don't have the they defined, so this will not work. So the answer in this case is E. Okay, and so I put in E and I move on. All right, now some people get really worried about the time. They go, okay, Adrian, but we're going so slow, I'm gonna run out of time, I won't have time for the next passages, da 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 da. Okay, no, they cannot equal soft drinks, Pachu. They is for humans. If it were an object noun, it would be them, okay? Or you can't use they, okay? Or these. Sorry, I shouldn't say them. Them is also a human pronoun. These would be the correct pronoun for an object, Pachu. So careful with that. Them, they, that's for people. These, those, that's for objects, okay? So it has to be E, okay? And again, if you're worried about the time, if you're like, oh, but I'm going to run out of time, the way the reading passages work the best, or your strategy, I should say, works the best, is start slow to speed up, okay? So you want to start slow to speed up. That means you want to take time in the beginning, in the first 10, 15 minutes, and really get a good idea of the questions and the answers. And the more you understand, the more questions you start to answer, the faster you will get. So reading the passage and answering the first 3 questions might take you like 15 minutes. But then answering the next 10 questions will only take you 5 minutes, because you have a lot of great comprehension, okay? Does that make sense, everybody? I'm just taking a note here myself to give you some more advice on this. Okay. Does that make sense? So start slow. A lot of students do the opposite, which is a bad strategy, where they start fast. So they try to skim read through the whole passage super quick, skim read all the answers super quick. And they do that in like 4 minutes. And then they slow down and they start looking at questions for like 1-2 minutes each question, okay? That's the wrong strategy. So starting fast and then slowing down, that's the wrong strategy, okay? You don't want to do that, okay? So remember and practice this. Start slow, then speed up. Yeah, exactly, Michael. There's an expression in English, slower is faster, right? Okay. All right, number 2. Again, remember, I'm finishing this on my own. While it is believed that chicha has been around for thousands of years, this is not proven. It's closer to maybe 500 years. They don't know. Okay, so that's my answer. Let's find the match. Okay, and you're going to do this, so I'm not doing this for all of them, so you're going to do it for the next ones. Okay. All right, they may have been served chicha. No, it is an ideal foundation for the drink. It has only been consumed since the 1500s, maybe? I don't know. They didn't say for sure that that's true, so I don't know. So it's a maybe. Okay. Is non-alcoholic. Chicha is just as popular. I don't cross out answers that I used because they might work better elsewhere. It compensates for lack of flavor with color, can lower cholesterol and prevent cancer. It can vary from town to town. Only one is commonly consumed. They would consume chicha in significant quantities. This has not been confirmed. Okay, so that one looks good too. It is clear that the historical shows this. I don't think so. Yellow corn contains alcohol. Okay, so I've got kind of 2 choices here. It has only been consumed since the 1500s, and this has not been confirmed. Okay, so while it is believed that chicha has been around for thousands of years, it has only been consumed since the 1500s. I don't remember the passage saying that this is true. I don't remember it saying that this is for sure. So I do remember the passage saying that they're not sure exactly when it started. So I'm going to go with K. And if I'm kind of like, well, but, I'm not 100%. I'm only like 80% sure. I'll take 80%. Okay, so 80% is enough for me not to waste more time. If I've answered all the questions and I want to check, then I can make a note on my note paper and come back at the end. Okay, but for right now, I'm going to go with K. And I see Ariadna and Jova and Michael also say, yeah, I think K is the best one there. Okay. All right, students, the next one's yours. So tell me, what's the end of this sentence here? Before a person was sacrificed, what? Okay. How do you finish this? Give me your answer. I'm not going to rush it. I know there's a couple second delay here at YouTube, so you're going to have an extra few seconds before you hear me, because there's a slight delay between the live stream and what you're saying. So before a person was sacrificed, finish the sentence. While you're doing that, for people joining, if you're liking this class, join us at aehelp.com. Carolina, if you're still here, could you drop the links for this in the chat? aehelp.com, you'll get a lot of these tips and strategies that I'm teaching you in this class. Again, as somebody said, whoa, 20 years of experience with IELTS, right? So click that button, join. It's a one-time payment. You get lifetime access. You get the web app. You get the mobile app, or the mobile app. The web app works on your mobile. Okay. So, all right. So how do you finish that sentence, students? General IELTS, gieltshelp.com. Okay, it's like that. Okay, thanks, Carolina, for making the drop. Okay, again, everybody, Carolina just dropped the link to those websites. So, Ugo Han says, serve chicha. Okay, so before a person was sacrificed, they were served chicha, right? Full sentence, Ugo Han, correct sentence. Ariadna says they drank a bit of chicha. Ariadna, hopefully not, hopefully a lot of chicha. And I mean the alcoholic type, not the not the children's version, but hopefully they didn't just drink a little bit. Hopefully they drank a lot, a lot of chicha. I know if I was getting sacrificed and had no choice, I'd be like, okay, give me as much chicha as you have. Give me all the chicha, then you can sacrifice me. I don't want to feel that kind of sacrifice, geez. Okay, but that looks. Ariana says yes, yes. Okay, so yeah, so a couple of you are getting that. Okay, well let's see if that works. Let's see if that's there. So A, they may have been served chicha. That looks pretty good right away. First one, right? They may have been served chicha. Anything similar, it is ideal, it is only being consumed, is non-alcoholic, chicha is popular, it compensates, can lower cholesterol, it can vary, only one is they would consume a chicha in significant quantities. Okay, now maybe my wishes are getting the better of me. This has not been confirmed. It is clear that the historical shows this. Yellow corn contains alcohol. Okay. What do you think, students? A, they may have been served chicha, or J, my wishes and hopes, they would consume chicha in significant quantities. Which one do you think is the right answer? Is it A or is it J? Michael says must be J. Okay, and jokes aside, so students, jokes aside here, right? Because some of you are like, maybe it is J. Maybe they drank a whole ton of chicha. No, I'm not going to pick J. That's just silly. That's my head. That's my brain talking. That's me talking. But I wouldn't choose that. Why? Why do you think? And I don't need to go back to the passage to read this and to check this. Why not? Students, let's have some fun with this. And IELTS, for those of you who want to get a Band 7, Band 8, Band 9, and this is what our course is going to teach you. IELTS is a thinking exam. And you need to use your logic. You need to use your clever wits. Okay? Why is J unlikely? Okay, what do you know about the Inca sacrifices? All right. So the Aztecs and the Incas had kind of like pyramids that were very high. And some of you probably remember from history or from movies even, I think Indiana Jones has this, where they would usually sacrifice the person at the top of these pyramids, I think to the moon and the sun god or something like that. Okay. So they would have like a dagger. They would have like a knife, right? And so they would sacrifice them. Now, let's be realistic, okay? Do you think that in a religious ceremony where they're sacrificing this guy or gal to the moon god, do you think they're going to get him super drunk on top of this pyramid before they knock him off? How would that even look as a ceremony where somebody's just like super wasted? How, like, would they have you, like, is everybody, all the people standing down here cheering, waiting for the sacrifice? Are they going to watch some person drinking chicha for like 20 minutes while they get super drunk and then lay down to get sacrificed? Probably not, right? Reality check. They probably had like one little goblet, like they had like one little, like, not even like this, but a little goblet. They took a sip and then said some chant and then that was it, right? They're probably not getting hammered on top of the pyramid waiting for the sacrifice, okay? So probably not. Again, this is one of those questions where I would use my logic. I would write A, and by the way, it is the correct answer. I would write A and then I would move on. And I would only check if I had extra time at the end. Okay, so I would use my logic to help me choose the better answer. Does that make sense, students? So like you don't start searching and skimming and scanning right away and seeing, whoa, where was sacrificed, da 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 da. You use your logic. Okay, you use your logic and you realize like, yeah, okay, I don't think these people got super hammered up there. They just probably like had a drink, poured a drink out. The rich people in the Inca tribe probably didn't want to share all that chicha anyway. So use that logic. Okay. All right. Finish the next one, students. Although there are two main types of chicha. Okay, finish the sentence. Don't look at the choices. Again, don't look at the choices, okay? So, don't look at the choices. I don't want you to go, oh, I'm going to look at the choices. I don't know how to finish that one. Stop and think for a second, okay? So, although there are two main types of chicha, how do you finish that sentence? Again, students, think. IELTS is a thinking exam. Those of you who believe that you can just pull the answers magically out of the text are in for a surprise. You're going to use a lot of time. You'll probably run out of time. And you'll likely only get about a band 6 or 7. If you can get a band 9 by just pulling answers, you can save a lot of energy and get a band 9 by reading and using your own judgment. Okay? So although there are two main types of chicha, only one of them is alcoholic. Yeah, that's not bad. So it's okay. We can, Ariadna says only one of them is alcoholic. Yeah, maybe. Okay. I have something else coming to mind. So remember I was visualizing this text. And there were a couple places I think where it said this, and that's what pops to mind. Okay, so although there are two main types of chicha morada and de jora, I believe is what they. Yeah, Michael, very good. So Michael says they're different from town to town. So there's kind of two main types, but I visualize that there are actually lots of different flavors because it said in the text that different parts of Peru, people make different kinds of variations of these two chicha, right? So I visualize that. I'm like, ooh, that town uses strawberries. That town uses mangoes. That town has a little bit more alcohol in it. That town has a little bit less alcohol in it. That one's a little bit more bitter. That one's a little bit more sweet, right? So you don't just see, but you can taste those variations, right? It wasn't just 2 flavors. For me, there were lots of flavors of chicha. One with alcohol, purpley. The other one with not alcohol, not purpley, but lots of different flavors, okay? All right, so that's how I would finish that, like Michael, okay? Right? So you're not just seeing the text, students. You're feeling, you're touching, you're tasting. Use all your senses when you read and in the listening section. So use all senses in the IELTS. Okay. All right. So let's see. What do we have? They may have been served chicha. It is an ideal foundation for the drink. It has only been consumed. It is non-alcoholic. Chicha is popular. It compensates for lack of flavor. Can lower cholesterol. It can vary from town to town. Look at that right there. Boom, boom. That's looking really good. Only one is commonly consumed. They would consume chicha. This has not been confirmed. It is clear that the yellow, okay, H looks good. And you're going to really see why you want to start slow and then speed up after, because when we have the right answers here, I think the rest of the questions are going to become a lot easier. Okay. Number 5, similar to mulled cider, chicha morada contains cloves and cinnamon and strawberries. Maybe, I don't know. They may have been served chicha. It is an ideal foundation for the drink. It has only been consumed since the 1500s. Okay, I think it's non-alcoholic. Chicha is just as popular. It compensates for lack of flavor with color. No, can lower cholesterol and prevent cancer. Maybe as well. Okay. Only one is commonly consumed. They would consume in significant quantities. This has not been confirmed. It is clear that the historical shows this. Yellow corn contains alcohol. I don't know. But look, this one, maybe I'll stop and I'll do a quick check. It's chicha morada. Okay. I remember the passage separated types of chicha very clearly. The first one here is chicha morada, right? And the second one is chicha de jora, okay? Chicha morada is a non-fermented and non-alcoholic drink made from purple corn, which gives it its characteristic purple color. It is high in antioxidants, helps to prevent certain cancers. Okay, well, non-alcoholic and prevent cancers is there. So let me try to stick both of them in. Similar to mulled cider, chicha morada contains cloves and cinnamon and can lower cholesterol and prevent cancer. Okay, that works. And is non-alcoholic. Bit of a 50-50. What is your logic telling you? So again, what would you logically choose as the answer? D or G? Both seem to be correct. And this is where some students are like, but that's not fair because both are kind of correct. Hint, students, go with whatever the passage is giving you first, right? It says non-alcoholic first, so go with that one. It's giving you an overview, right? Helps to prevent certain cancers is more detail. That would be a separate sentence, okay? So non-alcoholic is the simpler answer here. And IELTS will look for that simpler first kind of answer, okay? So in this case, is non-alcoholic would be the better choice and the correct choice. Okay, and some of you are saying, well, that's not fair. Yeah, but number 6, while chicha de jora is made from less flavored corn, it is alcoholic. Okay. They may have been served chicha. It is an ideal foundation for the drink. That looks good. Okay. Maybe it's coming first. Maybe not. We'll see. Is non-alcoholic. That's not true. Chicha is popular. It compensates for lack of flavor with color. That's not true either. Can lower cholesterol and prevent cancer. Maybe, but that's for the different one. It can vary. Only one is commonly consumed. Significant quantities. Yellow corn contains alcohol. Doesn't make sense. So B is the correct answer. Okay. Now I'm going to show you how you can actually speed up. So once you have all this information and once you know what's going on, you can actually speed up. So here, again, a lot of students will think, okay, well, I'll just need to go back to the passage to fill this in and search for the answers. But again, you don't need to because you probably have a lot of the answers already in your head. And so here we go. Work with me. Students, give me the answers. So if you want bonus points, tell me what the answers are for this. I'll give you a little head start, okay? I'll read it twice. So, though it has been traditionally produced for generations, in modern times, this is something. For example, traditionally, women would chew the corn and spit it into a bucket. This process would help stimulate something because of the chemicals present in the women's saliva. Who can figure out 7? Who can figure out 8? Okay. What comes into 7? What comes into 8? Okay, you know what? While you think about that, I'll read the next one as well. Culture. Even today, chicha has a place in the culture of Peru. Outside of Peru, the drink is consumed by those in South as well as something America. Chicha has also given rise to forms of music, dance, architecture, and film, an entire counterculture. In this sense, chicha is a drink for the common people, not for the something. Okay. All right, you got a head start. Let's see how well you do. Number 7, I have no idea. I'm going to have to check. Number 8, fermentation, the process by which alcohol is produced. Okay, learn words. Those in South as well as Central America. I remember this, right? Makes sense. Capital C, because it's a location, that's a name. In this sense, chicha is a drink for the common people, not for the elite. I remember that word as well because it was very visual, not for the rich people. They can just drink their fancy wine. I'm going to drink my delicious chicha, right? So not for the elite. So I got 3 out of 4. All right. So all I have to do now is look for number 7. I go back to production. The traditional production of chicha is today rare. Okay, there I go. Rare. Boom. That looks like the right answer. Okay. So this is rare. All right. I've got all 4 of my answers. At the end, if I have time, I'm going to reread this, make sure it makes sense. Okay. Number 11 to 13, yes, no, not given. Students, on the YouTube channel, we have a very good video for this. Check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Look for the video that explains how to do yes, no, not given questions. These are not that hard if you have the right strategy. Number 11, chicha is available almost everywhere in South America. Is this important to the passage? Is this focusing on the passage? The passage talks about Peru. It focuses on chicha and the Peruvian culture. It's not important, not given. I don't remember visualizing people all over South America drinking chicha. But I could be wrong, right? If I had to check, it would be maybe somewhere in the beginning. I'm not going to do that. Okay? All right? Okay, I know that it's drank in other parts. It says South and Central, but we don't know if it's popular or available everywhere. Chicharias are legal establishments run by families. This is part of the culture. Is it important? Yes, it's part of the culture. Is it true? Yes, it's given. So the answer is yes. And maybe I got this first one wrong. I don't care. I'm not going to stop for one answer at this point, okay? Number 13, drinking chicha can be a great way of connecting with the local culture of Peru. Is this important? Absolutely. Is this going to be true? Yes, absolutely. Okay? It's emphasized in multiple places. In the conclusion, the author says, if you want to really experience Peru and Peruvian culture, share a glass of chicha with Peruvian people. Okay? So not given. Yes, yes. Now, I do remember from here that even today, outside of Peru, the drink is consumed by those in South as well as Central America. So I know it talks about it, but it doesn't talk about specifically that it's available almost anywhere. Okay, so that's not given. Okay, so I'm going to stick with those answers. They are the correct answers, students, but in the real exam, okay, you can't stress about having every single question 100% correct. You need to be at least 80% sure in all of your answers, and then you have a chance at getting a band 9. Okay, I did the IELTS exam a few years ago. I got band 9 in the reading section with the very same strategies. All right, so that's what you want to practice. And again, go to our websites and join the premium versions by clicking those big red buttons that I just clicked on, and then start studying. Come join these live classes, watch the videos, download the apps, link them, okay? Pay the $30 to $40. It's totally worth it. You're not going to regret it. I don't know if we ever had a student say, "Oh, I regretted joining," especially those that practiced and used the materials, right? Carolina, thank you for posting the links. Tomorrow I'm back with speaking, students. So again, back with speaking, and again, just repeating this, from the start of March, we're changing these classes. There will be one live class on YouTube each week, one premium class, but we'll talk a little bit more about that in the premium classes of how that's going to look. And then that will free up more time for me to develop better learning materials, more preloaded videos for YouTube for you as well. So a little bit of a different strategy from March, but all the same great content. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here with me today. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow, whether you're in Peru sharing a glass of chicha or in another part of the world sharing your local drink and having a good time. Enjoy life, balance work and play and study, and I'll see you tomorrow. Much love to all of you wherever you are. I'm Adrian, signing out from Victoria. Bye for now.